Hello crafty friends, it's Jess from jesscrafts.com, and today I'm here with another One Sheet Wonder tutorial. So this is One Sheet Wonder number 28. I did previously share this in a 6x6 paper pad tutorial. I think it was a Doodlebug one, and it was kind of inspired by a particular piece of paper in the paper pad that I wanted to use with no scraps, and then I kind of turned it into a One Sheet Wonder so that it would be useful for other paper pads. So this is the PDF that you can get over on the blog, and I have kind of tried to upgrade them a little bit recently in terms of just being more specific and uniform with the measurements, and I have a color printer now, so I'm able to print my templates in color, which makes them look all professional. Anyway, I'm going to work with the Opaque Warm and Cozy double-sided paper pad. I don't think this one's still available, but it's in my stash, and I like to use what's in my stash. Then I also have these stickers that I picked up from a local crafty thrift store. I think I'm going to be using these ones. So again, this is not something that I can link you to. Honestly, they don't even have like a brand on them, but you know me, and it's all about using your stash. So here's some things from my stash. Okay, so I want to pick a pattern paper that will work even really small, because there's this 1/2 inch little piece here. I just realized those measurements are totally wrong. I will make sure that gets fixed before it's on the sketch for you guys, because it definitely says 1/2 inch by 4 inches, and that is not what that is. It's 1/2 inch by 2, or 1.5 by 2. So anyway, I want it to still look cute when it's really small. I kind of like these animals, but I don't know that they go very well with my stickers. So I'm going to want to pick one that kind of meets a number of qualifications. This paper pad has a lot of cut-aparts, so it's a great candidate for doing a 6x6 paper pad tutorial as well. But again, since it's not available, I'm thinking I might just be using it here and there as it makes sense. I like this one a lot. I think it goes pretty well with these. These have more of a vintage look. These are a little bit redder than the burgundy here, so let's take a look and see if we can find something that's maybe a little more suited. Those I think are just way too big, although I could use the wood grain for the smaller, thinner pieces, and then the houses for that bigger 3x3 piece. But I think the houses don't quite go with the feel of these. So, I think that's a lot of blue. That could work. And the back is very simple. Okay. I think these are my two best candidates. Although these here are 1.5 by 2, so that is the size of this little piece here. Anyway, I'm thinking I do kind of want to do craft for the mats, because that just makes it easy. I don't have to color match as much. And the craft cardstock does kind of look better with this one, whereas like it blends in too much. So I just want to talk about that kind of thing, because I think that's what can be really valuable, is like how do you pick which colors you want? I mean, it's nice to know what color someone chose, but like why are they going with those colors? What is their process there? So this is not true 6x6 paper because it has this hole here. So I'm going to cut it down to 6x6. I always get a little frustrated when, if you can see at the 6-inch measurement, there's still a little bit of a divot there. It's always a bummer. So it kind of makes it a little bit less than 6x6. We're going to make it work though. Alright, I'm just going to assemble one of the two cards today, but I'll cut all of the pieces. So I need one 3x3 piece. I do appreciate the irony that I told you that I went through and was careful about fixing the measurements, and I still messed up the measurements. So that's just the reality of it, is that these are all done like in my spare time here and there, oftentimes way too early in the morning, and therefore that's why these things happen. Okay, so this is the one with a little bit of the hole, like where the hole was in the top of the pattern paper. So I could try to trim it down a bit more, and that will make that less noticeable. Okay, that works. It is basically 2 inches. I do think it's a bummer when that happens, but make it work, make it work. Okay, now we need the mats. All the mats are just a 1/4 inch bigger. So if I have 3 by 3, I need a 3 1/4 by 3 1/4 mat. Or I have a 1 1/2 by 4, so I need a 4 1/4 by 1.75 or 1 3/4. And then I need that same 1 3/4, but this time by 2 1/4. So these pieces are no longer big enough. Let me grab a scrap from my desk, see if I have one that's 1 3/4. Might have to be cutting it. Bummer. I have a big old scrap drawer too. So that's where I just pulled this out of. We'll make that work. 1 3/4 by 2 1/4. All these measurements are on that PDF, and it will be fixed by the time you guys see it. Don't worry. I know what the real measurements are because the sketch says the right measurement. The template says the right measurements, and the sketch says the wrong ones. So I want to do a combination of both sides of the pattern paper. And I really you could just keep it one-sided, and if you have one-sided paper, I think these sketches definitely still work. It's going to come together kind of like this. But as you can see, breaking it up with another color can add a bit of interest, and it makes those patterns that you are, like the pattern that I like, show off more. And so I think I'm going to go with the red in the background just so there's a little bit less of it and a little bit more of my favorite side of the pattern paper. And to make things quicker, I always like to tape everything all at the same time as I'm assembling my cards. I use ATG tape. I've been very happy with it. I do have some troubleshooting tips. So if you've had some trouble with your ATG in the past, I will say cheap refills can be a problem. I've recently, I think it's a couple years now, I've gotten my refills from Tape Jungle, and I've been very happy, but I've seen a lot of cheaper refills on Amazon. I did try one and it was awful, so I don't recommend that. I think Tape Jungle has good prices. I'm not an affiliate with them or anything like that, but they have the best price, so it's what I use. Okay, I had a card base out, so I have to be quick. Let's get this assembled. So the little rectangle is going to go right on top of the square, so I can glue that or tape that right on top here in the corner as per the sketch. But this piece is tucked under the square, and so I want to make sure everything looks nice and level. First off, I'm going to try to center this, and I'm going to use, this is the Altenew craft mat, and in the center is this A2 size card, as you've heard me mention in the past. So it allows me to make sure everything is more lined up because I can see, oh, that's even from both ends. Honestly, most of the time I just kind of eyeball it, but now that I have this mat, it's been a nice resource. Scrap of cardstock on my desk, and I'm going to use that because I want everything to be nice and level, and if I were to glue this directly down, it would kind of bump over this. And so by putting this piece of cardstock up behind it, it kind of just props it up. So I'll add a little bit of adhesive to the part that will be on the pine cone paper, and then some adhesive there. You could make your piece a little bit bigger. I just kind of tend to grab whatever scrap I have. All right, so that's the basic sketch. Now you could add whatever you want to finish off the card, and you could make one more card exactly like this, and there'll be no scraps left. All those pieces are already cut, and I could easily assemble another one. I'm going to come to these stickers and see what might be a nice embellishment. I like that there are some sentiment stickers, but there's also some that have a sentiment and an image, which might work out pretty well for me. This one says Season's Greetings. Something that's I don't know, like with high quality scrapbook stickers, these are like cardstock type stickers. I find that you can peel them off and put them back down if you decide not to use it, and it's not a problem. It will stay there as long as you don't touch it too much. So that's why I'm never afraid to just peel it off and see if I like it and then put it back. But you could also cut it out and give yourself a good idea. You know, just cut around it and see if you like it, but then your thing gets all chopped up and your sticker sheet. So that's not so much for me. Anyway, I actually think this one kind of does work. It's incredibly simple though, and kind of small. So maybe I'll go with something a little bit bigger. This beautiful baby Jesus image. This is a very traditional card in terms of the colors and stuff, so I think that could work out. And then I could add one of these stickers. It says, filled with pure joy and delight, we have come to worship him. A king is born this day. That would work pretty well. Celebrate with good cheer. I do donate a lot of my cards, and some places welcome religious cards, religious sentiments, and others that is not part of their mission. So just keep that in mind, and you can go to the page, the card drive resources page of my blog, which is always linked in the video description, and it will give you a list of organizations, and you can find one that is well suited to the kind of cards that you make or like to make. And there's also a bunch of jokes there. For Christmas cards, I also like to just stamp sentiments inside. There's a couple of stamp sets that have like really beautiful messages, and I'll link a few in the video description that I like to use instead of jokes. Like, to me, a card like this doesn't quite pair as well with a joke, and so sometimes I just like to put a more like simple, heartfelt message inside instead of just the joke. And this I'd probably send to an organization that serves seniors as opposed to maybe kids, because I'd maybe do something a little bit more cutesy for kids. But, you know, whatever floats your boat and whatever fits the qualifications of the organization. Of course, they always have their the things that they want and ask for, etc. Anyway, that is it for my card today. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you are interested in more crafting tutorials, specifically how to use your supplies without creating scraps and to really just get into your stash, subscribe to my channel or hit that bell notification. I also really appreciate it when you guys share these videos, like in a Facebook group or something like that, that, you know, if you find the videos and the templates and all that valuable, if you can share it, really makes a big difference to me, and I really appreciate it. And yeah, so I'll also leave you some video inspiration at the end and link you some of the products that I mentioned, but probably not the ones I used because they're not available and it's all stash. But thanks so much for watching. Have an awesome day. Bye.